Jealousy is a disease to which I say, get well soon.
You need to explain your tagline to us. It's iconic. I love it.
So jealousy is something that I have dealt with my entire life, and it really brings out a very ugly side of people, and it tends to make them do things that I think that they know are really not nice. And I try to live in a world where I support other women and work together, and jealousy kind of decimates that, and it is an illness. And the women who are jealous really do need to get well very quickly, or they're going to have some very big problems coming their way from me. I can tell you that.
So good. So good. Now, it's been teased that rumors start swirling around you, and you have to decide whether you're going to turn to your girlfriends for support or suffer in silence. So what rumors, like what kind of clarity can you give us before going into the season?
So I think what is already known a little bit that I can talk about is that, you know, my husband and I, we become empty nesters, and we really are dealing with a lot of those issues, along with, you know, redefining your marriage, your relationship, figuring some things out, where you're heading now that you don't have children in the home. And now that you have to address a lot of issues that started long before the children left, that you kind of were sweeping under the rug to make a nice family. So, you know, rumors will start to swirl, and I have to make some choices. I've typically been a very private person, and I have not disclosed a lot to my friends about my marriage, about my personal life. And it's a new process trying to figure out what you want to discuss, what you don't want to discuss. And, you know, you'll have to watch to see any more than that. I think that's about all I can tell right now.
You're so good at leaving us on the edge of our seat. I'm like, I want to know more, but I guess we'll have to just tune in. But I do want to ask though, how was navigating deciding what to tell, what not to tell? Because you said you are a private person. So coming on a show like this where you have to be super open with it, how was navigating all of that?
So it was very intimidating for me to start with because, you know, as we've mentioned, I am private. I don't disclose a lot. And that's why when you said, describe yourself, it's fun. Like with my friends, I don't get very deep normally, and I try to keep things more just lighthearted and fun. And sometimes you don't have a choice because somebody else is talking, and well, you want to at least set your story straight. You want to make sure, you know, that everyone knows what is going on for real, rather than, you know, fabricated things by people just guessing and talking and whatever else. So it was a different process for me, opening up to friends and telling things that I probably wouldn't have told previously had I not really been confronted.
Right. And looking back on this season, are you glad that you opened up? Were you able to kind of move on with things that you might normally not have been able to?
Yeah, it actually, it was very, for me, it was a huge personal growth experience. It was very cathartic in a lot of ways, almost like glam therapy, you know. I really grew and learned a lot about myself, and learned that opening up actually can help me and help me grow and give me support from other people sometimes and not from others. And you figure out, you know, who is there to support you and who's not. And if you don't give them the chance, you don't find out. So it was definitely a huge growth experience. And I'm happy that I did open up, and as things move forward, you'll see I get a lot more open. So,
you know, that's always good. That is always good to keep on moving and growing. Now, I do want to ask, how is your relationship with the other ladies now after filming? Sometimes there's talking, sometimes there's not. What is your relationship now?
I have had communication at some level with every single one of the women.
Well, that's always
yeah, some much more than others, but there has been some level of communication with everybody.
Of course. Now, I do want to ask, because a big storyline with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is surrounding the Mormon church. But it's been teased that a lot of the ladies love to party, they like to have fun, they like to drink. So how does that exactly work?
So there are a lot of misconceptions, both about the Mormon church and about Utah in general.
Okay.
And, you know, Mormonism is a newer religion. And so, of course, just like I'm Jewish, and Judaism way back when, everyone was much more conservative, and over time, there are people who choose to have more reform practices in any religion. And so that is something that is happening with the Mormon religion. There are plenty of Mormons who don't live by every single rule and are not super conservative and are, as Lisa Barlow would say, Mormon 2.0. So, and it's not a world of polygamy, and, you know, it's just, it's not exactly what has been put out there. And Utah has a lot more than just the Mormon church. Yes, it is a part of the culture, and it is something that is not unique to Utah, but certainly very prevalent there. But there are, you know, as you'll see, the women are we're all different. I mean, you know, we've Judaism, Mormon, Islam, you know, Pentecostal. It is very religiously diverse. And particularly up in Park City where I live, religion is actually much less of an element than it is in the rest of Utah. And even in Salt Lake is pretty diverse too. You go outside of Utah, outside of Salt Lake City and Park City, then yes, it's a very large Mormon community. But in both of those areas, it is actually somewhat religiously diverse, much more so than I think is perceived.
Got it. Now, does the Mormon religion come into play a lot this season? Or like you said, how Lisa says she's Mormon 2.0, and kind of that's just what it is?
It comes into play in the sense that, you know, some of the women are still struggling to figure out where they want to sit in that place. You know, do I want to exit the church entirely? Do I want to be Mormon 2.0? Where can I sit comfortably, you know, with what works for me? In terms of, you know, the rest of it, not, you know, that's really where it comes in. We're not going to be we certainly wouldn't be allowed to go into the temple. I would never be invited because I'm not a Mormon, and even if I were, not every Mormon is even invited there. So it's, you know, it's more about everybody's own journey on that than the religion itself.
Got it. Now, so many people are so excited for this new franchise, including other housewives from other cities. Now, has anyone reached out to you from other franchises to give you any advice or to wish you good luck or anything like that?
Yeah, I've had a little bit of communication with some of the other women. I've had, you know, over the years in business, I mean, I for years was selling to Kyle Richards' store. My jewelry was sold there. Tinsley Mortimer has worn my jewelry. Bethany Frankel, I actually knew almost 30 years ago in LA, and she's also has some of my jewelry. And so, but then I also have communicated a bit with some of the other women who are, you know, currently on the show, just who have reached out, you know, to be kind and helpful. And so far it's been very positive. That's all I can say. No one has been, you know, anything but very nice.
Now describe the season in just one word.
Volatile.
Ooh.